So good to see you. So good to have our tea timers together. Tuesday tea time, settling into our spot, wherever that may be. I think we're probably all on chairs, maybe cushions, maybe floor sitting. Just allowing the present moment to become predominant. Taking a couple of breaths. Letting the body settle on the cushion. Noticing feet on the floor. Having a sense of groundedness. Noticing pressure or warmth or coolness. Bringing ourselves into the present moment of this very moment of this feeling of being embodied. We come to this place, the very amazing container that we have to inhabit this body, this breath, this moment. Feeling pressure or density at the seat on the cushion or the feet on the floor. Bringing our busy minds from daily activity into the present. We usually very quickly fall into future thinking or past thinking. That's okay. That's part of what we do. One of those sense doors is thinking. And there's other information that comes to the other sense doors. Hearing can be happening. Seeing might be happening. You might have your eyes slightly open and be seeing hazily around you, or sometimes there may be inner seeing that happens. Lights or flashes or scenarios. The scenarios become thinking, but nonetheless we have the eye door, the ear door, the taste door, the touching door of our feet and our buttocks or our hands where they touch. Or the touch of the air on our nostrils. There may be coolness there or warmth there. This is a moment to attend to the arising of a condition that comes together, our mindfulness attending to what it notices. And when it roams, we can come back to one of these points at the nostrils or the touch point or the rising and falling of the belly. Feeling pressure or lack of pressure there. So my words are just concepts coming to your ears. Hearing is happening. But for you, it's really knowing the experience, being present and knowing the experience of what's happening. Without judgment when you're not very present. Just returning to the breath or the touch point and beginning again. And as we're attending to the rising and falling of the breath, mindfulness being present, resting in awareness, recognizing whatever object is coming into our view. And we may notice that it isn't stable or steady. We keep our attention on it until it's gone, until it's passed away. Sometimes we can name the experience, and it can sometimes help sustain the experience a little. But then letting that naming go quickly to the next naming that arises, without hanging on to any one of the experiences. They come due to conditions. They pass away when the conditions change. And we see this directly. This is our direct knowing. And so we don't hang on to anything, but we stay present, aware, mindfulness at the forefront. Training, taming our hearts and minds to be present, resting in awareness, resting in a sense of naturalness, letting kindness be there for ourselves. Some things that arise are sometimes very gross, and some things are more subtle. And we just remain still, quiet, and attentive, and we'll be able to see and notice. We can have clear perception, and this can sustain a continuity of awareness, being able to see the beginning and the end of an experience. developing this single-pointed concentration at the breath or the touch point, having this wholesome one-pointedness, a concentration in a wholesome state of mind. We might notice our minds wandering and something unhelpful, unwholesome arising. In this case, for developing samadhi or concentration, we let it go. We just let it go and return back to that single object of attention, to that breath or that touch point. We're using right effort and right mindfulness. Cultivating this wholesome state of mind. Letting go of greed or hatred, aversion, ill will when it arises, grasping and clinging or doubt. Letting the hindrances fall away. Returning to the breath or the touch point. As we let go of unskillful or unwholesome thoughts that arise, we nurture more feelings of joy and a sense of well-being, a deep sense of well-being. We're preparing the heart and mind. Preparing for awakening. As the mind wanders, we notice it, we catch it, and we bring it back gently to our chosen object, doing this over and over as often as necessary. It might sound simple, but we know that it's very difficult for most of us because thoughts and images always arise. But moment by moment, we overcome desire, anger, agitation, doubts. Breath by breath, returning again to the present moment. lost, spaced out or spaced in, caught in our own techniquing, we can just let it go. It has arisen and it has come to pass. Another set of conditions are arising again and again and again, constantly changing. Don't need to hang on to anything. Noticing that. We can notice emotions as they arise and pass. We can notice unwholesome and wholesome states of mind, such as kindness, compassion, joy, and peace. We keep inclining the mind toward the wholesome states and returning to that breath or that touch point, cultivating joy. Cultivating calm, staying aware and interested in what's happening. Sometimes we may find our mindfulness practice expanding to sense doors. We may notice what's happening at the hearing door or the sight door or the touch door, the thought door or the taste door, which draws us away from that single object of concentration. It makes a larger field of awareness. We can notice the whole body breathing. We can sit in that more spacious, open awareness to be present for whatever comes in from any of our sense doors. Many times as we're sitting like this, it can be the thought door, or it can be touch, where we notice a sensation in the body. But we let that field fill our bodies, noticing the breath through our whole body. And we may notice the arising and passing of different objects. We do the same thing as we did with our breath. We pay attention to what arises. We stay with it for as long as we can. We may make a soft, gentle note about it, thinking about the past or the future, or noticing pleasant or unpleasant sensations somewhere in the body. It's having our single pointed attention be on constantly changing objects. It's still developing concentration. But we're noticing anicca, anatta, dukkha. We're noticing the changing nature of everything as each thing that we attend to arises, stays for an amount of time that we're aware of, and then we see it pass. So whichever way is natural or easy for you, or you may find yourself going from that single pointed concentration to the more open attention on changing objects. Sometimes if we have a restless mind, that can keep our mindful awareness more attentive. And we can go again back to that single object of the breath at the nostrils or the belly to develop a more deeper sense of concentration. But it's okay to be at either place. easeful and naturally. The breath arises, stays for a while, passes away. We see this clearly. This is touching into the Buddha's basic teachings of anicca, anatta, dukkha. We see that what arises, if we hang on to it, we cause ourselves suffering. We can't hang on to it. It doesn't belong to us. And it leaves on its own accord. This little breath that we attend to ripples out into all of our experience. And seeing this clearly can bring that sense of joy, that sense of peacefulness, that we are seeing clearly the changing nature, that it's impersonal, can't be held on to. And we are training our hearts and minds by doing the very thing that the Buddha did 2,600 years ago, more than that now. Watching what arises without attaching, watching it pass. And we do this with kindness and compassion for ourselves.